Alrighty, so we are back, and like I said, I wanted to do a video on the news, and here we are. So, obviously the collab update is tomorrow night, so that should be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I'm off Monday, but I gotta work Tuesday, so I'm not gonna end up staying up too late to summon and everything. But I will probably do my summons and everything when I get home on Tuesday, so expect probably a video on that. Hopefully Tuesday night. If not, if I get busy, maybe Wednesday. But we shall see. But obviously it is a rerun of the Overlord collab, which I know some people are maybe a little hit or miss about at the moment. I don't really mind either way. I think the two new characters are pretty cool. Obviously Dimiurge looks really crazy, and unfortunately Narberal doesn't look all that great. But you know, I am okay with that for the most part. Like, yeah, it sucks that they're like a brand new character isn't really all that good, but they're both unknown heroes, but Dimiurge actually doubles as a demon, and so you want to use him on kind of the demon team, even though it's not really the demon team anymore, considering Gilda and him are both unknown characters, but double as demons. And I've seen people using Nanashi in the back because of that, which is just funny to me. So yeah, he looks really, really good, actually, like really good. And then on the other hand, we have Narberal, who does not really look as good. Like, definitely not bad, but the more that I watch videos and stuff on her, the more it reminds me of like Glass from the Shield Hero collab. Like, can do okay, but not good enough to where you really want to go out of your way to use her, kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. It's a woman, so if you're just interested in summoning for waifus or whatever, definitely an option for you. But Dimiurge seems to be the man of the hour, so definitely recommend you try to pick him up if possible, if you're planning on summoning for the collab. If not, I don't think the Narberal is worth summoning for like the unknown team currently, but who knows how things will progress. Because it's a part 2 collab, we might not ever get the Overlord collab to come back again, so maybe grabbing one copy of her wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, just in case she becomes good for something in the future. So we'll have to see. But yeah, the new banner is actually really good. I could pull it up on JP really quickly, actually. Let me do that just so that way you guys can see it, because it's actually pretty good value in the sense that there's not a whole lot of filler stuff on the banner, which is really, really nice. So that is a very big positive. Plus, Gilda is on the banner also, which is really, really good. And I can't remember who the other characters. So it's the 6 collab characters, and then you have Green Sariel, Red Tarmiel, Green Ludociel, Chandler and Cusack, both demon form, and then you have Gilda and Nanashi. So pretty good lineup. It's a very small banner, so the odds of you getting collab characters is good. If you don't have Gilda and you're looking for her, there's a decent chance that you could get her. Obviously, she's not featured, and you can't guarantee a copy of her or anything, so if you're just wanting to summon for Gilda, it could be an okay time if you're already wanting to summon for the collab units. But if you don't care about the collab at all, I probably wouldn't summon just for Gilda on this one specifically. Personal opinion, of course. If you think differently, let me know in the comments. But yeah, at the 600 mark, you can choose from any of the collab characters, so that is actually really, really nice. Obviously, Ainz is one that scales pretty heavily off of his ultimate, so you might want to try to grab a couple of extra copies of him, or if you do, like, you might want to invest those instead of trading them. But the rest of the characters aren't necessarily like huge like ult scalers or anything. Obviously, Albedo is a good character and everything, but I don't really get to use her ultimate all that much, so you're mainly just using her for the stance. So I'm not going to go out of my way for copies of her, but I think when I'm summoning, I'm going to be looking for Dimiurge and Ainz, like, personally. So obviously I want to have one copy of each of the new characters, but I don't think that'll be an issue. So that's great. So they're Holy Relics. I have not actually read over these. At the start of the ally's turn, applies Blazing Inferno on all enemies for 2 turns, then increases demon allies' damage dealt by 5% for each Blazing Inferno on enemies up to 40%. If I'm not mistaken, Blazing Inferno is basically just a new version of Ignite, which is unique to him only, of course. So that's kind of interesting. And the Narberal's is increases allies' basic stats by 3% for each shock or shock effect on enemies up to 12%. So hers is a lot weaker, in my opinion. Like, she is not doing nearly as much stuff as Dimiurge is. And I've not actually read over the entire kits for these characters just yet. I guess, let me pull those up really quickly. We're going to run through it fast, so that way you guys aren't, because I'm sure some of you guys already know, but for me specifically, I have not looked through them all. Narberal is battle made. At the start of battle, apply electrical wave to all enemies for 2 turns, and for every unknown ally participating in battle, increase the unknown ally's attack by 10%. So that's up to 30%, not too bad there. Also, when the unit uses AoE skill card, apply level 2 shock for 2 turns and increase the unknown ally's damage dealt by 20% when attacking enemies with shock or shock effect. So, sounds okay. Electrical wave is when attacked by enemy skill use, applies shock effect 3-star for 2 turns, excludes damage, or excludes additional damage. Okay, so kind of meh. I'm not really sure about that. Just shock in general has never really been all that great. I mean, I think hers is shock effect, which is an improved version of shock. That seems to be the theme here. But yeah, her first skill is inflict electrical explosion damage by 500% on a single ally or enemy. And that is for every shock or shock effect applied to the enemy. Increases attack-related stats by 25% when attacking. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think... I've watched a little bit of gameplay. It doesn't look like you can really stack shock effects or anything like that super crazy, so I'm not super sure about this one. Twin Maximizing Magic Electric Sphere, what a name, is inflicts pierce damage on all enemies, so pierce AoE card. Ultimate is Twin Maximizing Magic Chaining Dragon Thunder. What a name. Apply buffs that increase basic stats by 30% to all allies for 3 turns and inflict power strike damage to a single enemy. So that's okay. And then we just read the Holy Relic. And then for Dimiurge, it is passive Devil's Different Faces. At the start of the battle, apply mind control to the enemy with the highest attack stat and enemies with attack stat lower than the unit. So he is a very interesting character in the sense that you're going to want to build an attack set for him instead of an HP set, which is kind of cool. I like when they kind of like not necessarily like force you, but like I like when you can get an advantage for running the character just out of the ordinary of an HP defense set. So adds demon race to the unit for every demon ally participating in battle, increases allies' basic stats by 5%, and decreases damage taken by 10%. So that's 30% damage reduction just right out of the gate if you're running full demons, and a 15% basic stat increase. So that is also good. At the start of the ally's turn, apply Flare Prison's Flame to all enemies for 2 turns, and when the unit attacks enemies with an advantaging attribute, increases damage dealt by 50%. When the unit uses a debuff attacking card, apply a debuff that decreases maximum HP by 30% for 1 turn. God, so this guy's just doing already so much more than Narberal is. It's just this difference is kind of insane to me. The mind control debuff that gets put on them is decreased damage by 30% when other enemies are alive. Can't target Dimiurge, so that's pretty cool. Flare Prison's Flames is increases damage taken by 15%, max stack of 8. So instead of it being a 10% from an ignite, his is just an increased version of 15%. And then he has this is his single target, which is Dark Flame. And Dark Flame is ×2 critical chance for every Flare Prison's Flame applied to the enemy, increases damage by 80%, that's quite a lot. And then Inferno, which is inflict Flare Prison damage on all enemies, and I've seen this one go crazy. So ×3 damage to debuffed enemies, which I'm pretty sure he just immediately puts debuffs on at the beginning of the turn. Increases damage by 50% when attacking enemies with a mind control debuff. So as long as your attack is higher than theirs, which means that he could potentially fall off pretty hard in the future, because obviously power creep is a very real thing in this game. So as soon as characters start having higher attack than him, which he's guaranteed to put it on at least 1 enemy with the highest attack stat, but you know, if the whole team is full of UR festivals in the future, more than likely they're going to have more attack than him. So might not be the greatest as far as longevity goes, but it's really good right now from what I've saw. His ultimate is Asteroid. Apply 4 stacks of Flare Prison's Flame, I'm assuming that's a 6/6, to all enemies and inflict sever damage by 525% of attack on all enemies, and apply Disastrous Flames to all enemies, which is ignores enemies' critical defense and resistance by 30% when attacking enemies. So He has way more going on than Narberal does, so you can kind of see where the difference in power level is there. Yeah, we obviously have a bunch of bundles and stuff, which is cool. I guess if you're into that kind of thing, 7-day collab bundle if you want to buy a bundle or like a whatchamacallit, subscription bundle kind of thing. I always end up liking those, but haven't really been buying too much in the game right now, and I'm going to have to spend a lot on the costumes, so I'm probably going to skip that one personally. There is a check-in event where you get 1 free multis worth over the first 2 days, and then you get a free copy of Cocytus on day 3, so you do still get a free copy of Cocytus. So if you played during the first Overlord collab, you should have 1 free copy already. This will make him 2/6 at the very worst, but who knows how your summons will go. So I mean, Cocytus is actually really good as far as like PvE stuff goes, like especially like final bosses that maximize points and stuff. He ends up being like a pretty pivotal character for some of that stuff if you want to have like the high level points teams and stuff. So take that into consideration. Don't just sleep on him just because he's like a random PvE character. He's actually pretty good. There is another free multi in the special missions, of course, and a level 90 token if you can finish them all, which is actually kind of nice. There is a bingo event going to be going on, which is cool, and you will actually get it looks like the helmet for the free Cocytus set here. Riku Aganea is coming back, which is the event boss for this collaboration, and I think in his exchange shop, yeah, you get the weapon and the outfit for the Cocytus set as well. So I don't think it's very hard. I think I've already seen people using Balder to like two-turn this guy, which I don't think he was really that bad to begin with, like the first time that he came around. But yeah, there's all kinds of like easy farm teams and stuff for that, of course. There is going to be an underground labyrinth for this one, so that'll be nice. If you don't know, during the collaborations when they do underground labyrinths, you can basically just use the collab characters, which tend to be very strong. So this should end up being a pretty easy one if I'm not mistaken. I haven't heard anybody say anything about it on JP so far, but if it's anything like last time, it'll be easy. There is another free multi that you can get out of the exchange shop, which is actually kind of nice. So you can technically get 3 free multis on this collab, which is pretty good because you probably want to grab Dimiurge while you get the chance. So that is kind of nice. He obviously is getting 3 new costumes because he is the very first, or this is the first time he's coming out. So you get 2 UR costumes, 1 SSR. Not a huge fan of his. I mean, this one is the one that I see everyone using, and I think it's for pretty good reason. It's basically the only good looking costume he has, in my opinion. And then the Narberal costumes aren't really all that cool either. I kind of like the SSR one more than any of them, but I don't know, I could maybe see this one being kind of cool, but business lady, not my style. There is 3 new costumes, which I guess there's technically 4, but the Cocytus one is free from the event stuff. But yeah, there is 1 new costume for Albedo, Ainz, and Shaltir, and they are all sort of like butterfly, like moth themed. So that is actually kind of cool. I do like the way that the Shaltir one looks a lot. So I definitely am going to try to pick all 3 of these up. But the old costumes are obviously returning, so if you haven't gotten those or whatever, you definitely can. I didn't get either of the paid costumes for Cocytus last time. They are giving us another free costume because this one was free last time as well. But I don't know if I'm going to bother buying costumes for him. Like, I kind of want to, but I also, like, he's a free character. I just use him for PvE stuff. I don't necessarily need the stats for him, but I don't know. I might buy 1 at the very least, because I think I bought 2 for Kizuna. Like, I don't know. I like Kizuna a lot, though. Payback event, so you can get a Holy Relic box if you spend 900 gems. This is the areas where you're going to find the other collab boxes. So if you want to make sure that you're getting all of your collab Holy Relics and stuff, this is where you're going to get those. Obviously, if you already have the old characters from the first time the collab came around, you basically just need 2 of these, so that shouldn't be too big of an issue. Limited time check-in event heroes, obviously the 2 new ones. King Exchange event is back. All the collab or / festival like boosting events are back, of course. We do have a new Hawk Pass with a new Thor outfit in it, so I think she's still missing 1 cosmetic. I'm not really sure which section it's in, but you can buy that set if you really want to. And then it looks like we have 1 new battle event. There are some system updates in this update as well, where we are now going to have these new geared PvP coins that you can only get in Challenger, if I'm not mistaken. So they're called Challenger coins. and there's basically a whole new exchange shop right here that you're going to be able to use these coins in. Not really sure what to think about this one yet. There's 3 UR cards and some other okay stuff, but I don't know how many of these coins you're really going to get. It looks like getting 10,000 for being level like first place is a lot, but I don't know what the cost on these items are yet. I'm hoping that it's not too bad, because I really don't want to be forced into buying these cards, because I don't want them to make a card set out of it like anytime soon, because I know it's going to take people a while to get these. They are changing the battle menu once again, so the Brawl button is back. I talked about this in the Dev Notes video the other day, and then they are moving Heroes Arena, Final Boss, and Labyrinth up to the top, so that way you can see when they are active, and it's a little less confusing. So I actually like the way that this looks. I like this one more than the current one that we have, and I personally did use the Brawl button before, so kind of nice to see that come back. But I do like this little piece at the top. I like the limited events being up here where you can see them very easily. We have a couple of miscellaneous changes here. The old characters are actually getting a little bit of a stat buff here. Ainz is actually getting a full stat buff from all of his stats, it looks like, or maybe there's a couple of stats missing here, but it looks like he's actually getting a decent little bit of an increase, whereas the other 3 are basically just getting basic stat increases. But every little bit helps, of course, so that is nice. The fact that Albedo's getting buffs is crazy, and then Cocytus being like a free unit that's used for points and stuff is really nice as well, and then Ainz obviously getting stuff is great. Shaltir is probably the character that I've used the least out of everything, but she's still not bad. It looks like they are actually buffing some of the character skills and Holy Relic stuff as well. So Ainz's Holy Relic was 40%, or plus 40% damage dealt for every death brand. Now it's going to be 50%, and he used to increase allies' basic stats by 3% for every debuff effect on the enemy. Now it's 4%, so decent little increase there. The inflicts damage equal to 180% of attack on one enemy, then decreases damage dealt by 30%. It looks like they're just increasing the damage modifiers on these, so it'll just do a little bit more damage. You know, obviously her stance did not need to be increased or anything, so nice to see they didn't mess up that. The unique or the passive on Shaltir is getting a little bit of a buff. It used to be the hero's HP related stats increased by 7% up to 3 times. Now it's 10% up to 3 times, so that's a total of 30 instead of 21, so that's actually kind of good. Inflicts exploit damage equal to 150% of attack on one enemy, so this is the one that just actually like deals the big damage as long as they are like have a bleed on them, if I'm not mistaken. They're just increasing the damage modifier on that one, so they didn't change it at level 3 though, so it just looks like the level 1 and the level 2 are going to do a little bit of extra damage, 30% extra on level 1, 20% on level 2. Nothing crazy there. I don't know that that's really going to make a big difference. And then for Cocytus, they're actually increasing the amount of HP that allies get per debuff, I think it is. No, increases the HP of allies that had debuffs removed by 8%, and then it's going to be 10% now. So that's one of the biggest reasons why people use him in the first place. All those HP buffs go crazy, so kind of ridiculous. Shield Hero Holy Relic boxes are getting removed, so unfortunately those have been sitting in my inventory for a while, and I'm just going to have a whole new set of them in my inventory after this collab, but they remove them before each new collab, so that way you have to do the events and stuff. Kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Baldur's getting added to the Race Draw 1 ticket. The SSR costume for Thor is getting added to the treasure shop, or Sacred Treasure shop, so you can buy that now if you want it. And then the 4.5-year anniversary special draw turned into a regular draw. What? Oh, I think like for the anniversary or whatever, they added like a new free banner for people to use. I think it's just maybe getting its name changed or something like that, but I think it persists until the next anniversary comes out, and then they'll change the banner. Yeah, it's honestly looking like a pretty good update. Some actual decent like quality of life changes in here, as well as like the collab and stuff. So looking forward to messing around with Dimiurge, of course. I'm gonna give Narberal my best shot, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up on her just yet. But you know, collabs are pretty cool, so I'm interested to see how the summons go and everything. So hopefully you guys have good luck on the summons that you do. Obviously, like I said, I'm probably not going to get around to mine until Tuesday, so I know a lot of you guys are probably going to stay up Monday night or even like do them earlier than me on Tuesday, so good luck. Hopefully you guys have some good pulls and stuff like that, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys later.